The year is 2025, a year that many had hoped would bring progress and unity, but instead it has brought a resurgence of old, divisive policies. President Trump, true to his word, has reignited the flames of a controversial promised mass deportation. His administration has doubled down on its stance, pushing forward with an aggressive agenda that has left many in fear and uncertainty. This time it's dubbed Operation Aurora, a name that sounds almost poetic, but the reality is far from it. The operation aims to identify, detain, and deport millions of undocumented immigrants. Millions of undocumented immigrants face the looming threat of forced removal, a chilling echo of past policies. The fear is palpable, as families brace for the possibility of being torn apart. This isn't just about immigration anymore. It's about families. It's about communities. It's about the children who have known no other home but this one, and the parents who have worked tirelessly to provide for them. It's about the very fabric of America, a nation built on the dreams and hard work of immigrants from all corners of the globe, a nation that prides itself on being a melting pot of cultures and ideas. This plan, if enacted, would be more than just cruel. It would tear at the heartstrings of our society, leaving emotional scars that may never heal. It would be economically devastating. The ripple effects would be felt across various sectors, from agriculture to technology, as businesses struggle to fill the void left by the deported workers. We're talking about millions of people who work, pay taxes, and contribute to our economy. These are individuals who have built lives here, who have become integral parts of their communities. Ripping them away wouldn't just be inhumane, it would create a vacuum that would be difficult if not impossible to fill. It would be economic suicide. The loss of such a significant portion of the workforce would lead to a decline in productivity, a decrease in consumer spending, and ultimately, a downturn in the overall economy. The question we must ask ourselves is, at what cost are we willing to pursue such policies? The answer may very well determine the future of our nation. Let's be clear, undocumented immigrants are vital to the U.S. economy. They work in agriculture, construction, hospitality, and countless other sectors. They're the backbone of many industries, often doing jobs Americans won't do, and they do them for less pay, under tougher conditions. These workers aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They are families trying to make a better life. They are entrepreneurs starting businesses. They are consumers supporting local economies. Removing them would leave a gaping hole in our workforce and our communities. The economic fallout of mass deportation would be catastrophic. Imagine entire industries grinding to a halt, communities left in disarray, and a nation struggling to cope with the sudden vacuum of labor and productivity. Studies estimate the cost could reach trillions of dollars over a decade. This isn't just a number on a page, it's a reflection of the immense financial burden that would be placed on our economy. The costs would encompass everything from enforcement and legal proceedings to the loss of tax revenue and consumer spending. We're talking about lost productivity, labor shortages, and a decline in overall economic output. Factories would stand idle, office spaces would remain empty, and the workforce would be significantly diminished. The ripple effects would be felt across every sector, from manufacturing to services. The agricultural sector alone could see billions in losses. Farmers rely heavily on immigrant labor to plant, tend, and harvest crops. Without this workforce, fields would go unplanted, crops would rot, and the agricultural economy would suffer immensely. Who's going to pick our fruits and vegetables? The labor-intensive nature of agriculture means that without a steady supply of workers, the food supply chain would be severely disrupted. Prices for fresh produce would skyrocket, and availability would plummet. Who's going to work in those meat-packing plants everyone seems to love so much? These facilities are already struggling with labor shortages, and mass deportation would exacerbate the problem, leading to higher meat prices and potential shortages. And it's not just the direct costs. The indirect costs would be equally devastating. The loss of a significant portion of the workforce would lead to decreased consumer spending, which in turn would affect businesses across the board. Think about the ripple effects. Fewer consumers mean less demand for goods and services. Shopping malls would become ghost towns, restaurants would close their doors, and the service industry would take a massive hit. Fewer consumers mean less demand for goods and services. Retail stores would struggle to stay open, leading to a cascade of closures and bankruptcies. The economic landscape would be drastically altered, with fewer opportunities for growth and prosperity. Businesses close, leading to job losses, even for American citizens. The unemployment rate would spike, and the social safety net would be stretched to its limits. Communities would face increased poverty and instability. It's a domino effect that would send shockwaves through the entire economy. The stock market would react negatively, investor confidence would plummet, and the overall economic health of the nation would be in jeopardy. The price of mass deportation is far too high for our country to bear. Small businesses, the engines of our economy, would be hit especially hard. Many rely on undocumented workers. They often can't afford to hire only documented workers who demand higher wages. Losing their workforce could force them to close their doors, devastating local communities. Think about your local restaurant, your neighborhood grocery store. These businesses are part of the fabric of our communities. Mass deportation wouldn't just be an economic disaster, it would be a social disaster, tearing apart the very fabric of our neighborhoods. Section 5. Logistical nightmare. The Herculean task of mass deportation. Beyond the economic and social costs, the logistical challenges of mass deportation are staggering. Where do you even begin? Rounding up millions of people, many of whom have been here for decades, is a logistical impossibility. Then there's the legal nightmare. Everyone deserves due process. Processing millions of cases through an already overburdened immigration court system is simply not feasible. It would require a massive expansion of government bureaucracy and cost taxpayers billions more. Section 6. Families torn apart. The human cost of Operation Aurora. Let's not forget the human cost. Operation Aurora would tear families apart, leaving children to grow up without their parents. The psychological trauma inflicted on these families would be immeasurable. Is this really who we are as a nation? The stories are heartbreaking. Parents deported, leaving behind US-born children. Children forced to navigate the foster care system. The human toll of this policy is simply unacceptable. Section 7. A more humane approach, seeking alternative solutions. Instead of resorting to cruel and ineffective policies like mass deportation, we need to find real solutions. Comprehensive immigration reform is the only sensible way forward. This means creating a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who are already contributing to our society. Imagine a system where people can come out of the shadows, pay their taxes, and live without fear. Imagine a system that strengthens our economy instead of crippling it. That's the promise of comprehensive immigration reform. Section 8. A call for compassion and common sense. The debate over immigration is often driven by fear and misinformation. But the truth is, immigrants are an integral part of what makes America great. They enrich our culture, strengthen our economy, and embody the spirit of hard work and determination. Instead of building walls and tearing families apart, let's build bridges and create a more just and compassionate society. Let's choose hope over fear, and let's choose a future where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Section 9. The long road ahead. Navigating the complexities of immigration reform. The journey towards a comprehensive and fair immigration reform is akin to navigating a long, winding road filled with numerous challenges and obstacles. It is a path that requires patience, perseverance, and a clear vision for the future. The road to comprehensive immigration reform won't be easy. It involves addressing deeply rooted issues and overcoming significant political and social hurdles. The debates in government buildings are intense, reflecting the diverse opinions and strong emotions surrounding this topic. In the bustling city streets, the faces of immigrants tell stories of hope, struggle, and resilience. Protests for immigration reform highlight the urgent need for change and the voices demanding justice and equality. It will require difficult conversations, political will, and a commitment to finding common ground. Politicians must come together, setting aside partisan differences to work towards a solution that benefits everyone. Community meetings with diverse attendees show the importance of including all voices in the discussion. In conference rooms, people from various backgrounds and professions must engage in meaningful dialogue, sharing their experiences and ideas to shape a better future. But the alternative, a future defined by mass deportation and economic devastation, is simply unacceptable. Deportation raids tear families apart and create an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. Empty factories and closed businesses are stark reminders of the economic contributions immigrants make. The visuals of economic decline underscore the critical need for a workforce that includes immigrants. who play a vital role in various industries and sectors. It's time to stop treating immigrants as political pawns. They are individuals with dreams, aspirations, and the desire to contribute to society. Protesters holding signs supporting immigrants remind us of the human aspect of this issue. Immigrants working in various jobs demonstrate their dedication and hard work. Families in a community setting show the bonds and connections that enrich our social fabric. It's time to have an honest conversation about the contributions they make to our country. Immigrant doctors and engineers at work highlight the skills and expertise they bring. Immigrant-owned businesses contribute to the economy and create jobs. Diverse classrooms reflect the future of our nation, where children from different backgrounds learn and grow together, fostering understanding and unity. It's time for compassion, for common sense, and for real solutions. Families reuniting at the airport symbolize the joy and relief that comes with being together. Community volunteer work shows the spirit of giving and support that immigrants bring. Interfaith prayer services reflect the shared values and beliefs that unite us all, regardless of our origins. The future of our nation depends on it. The American flag waving in the wind represents the ideals of freedom and opportunity. A diverse group of people looking hopeful signifies the potential for a brighter future. Children playing together in a park embody the promise of a united and inclusive society. Together, we can navigate the complexities of immigration reform and build a nation that truly reflects our values and aspirations.